Recently, I came across a video by Asian Boss that talks about what is considered poor in Singapore. With Singapore being reported as one of the richest countries in the world, you must be thinking,
huh? Singapore got poor people one meh?
Unfortunately, there is. And I don't mean the uni graduates who earn $3,000 a month. In this video, we will look at statistics to see what does being poor in Singapore look like, such as where do they stay, what are their income, their spending habits, and more importantly, is there anything being done to help them? Also, do join my Telegram group to discuss or ask any questions that you may have. With that being said, let's jump right in. First off, in the interview, a man claimed that Bukit Merah is the lowest ranked zone in Singapore. But how true is that? As it turns out, he is not far from the truth. The Bukit Merah estate has the second highest proportion of households with monthly income below $5,000, with the highest proportion of low-income households staying at Outram. To add on, there are about 27% of households in Outram that have no employed person, while in Bukit Merah, 20% of households have no employed person. This was followed by Kallang and Ang Mo Kio, which also had about 47% of households earning less than 5k a month. These areas are also reported to have the highest number of rental flats. For example, Jalan Guko, an area nearby Outram, is known to be one of the poorest estates in Singapore that comprises mostly of public rental flats. Just in case you do not know, public rental flats are heavily subsidized by the government to provide for Singaporeans who have no other housing options. Depending on the income level and other eligibility criteria, the rent for these flats usually range from $26 to $275 a month, which is incredibly cheap, considering that it would easily cost $800 a month to rent a room in Singapore nowadays. Meanwhile, in Ang Mo Kio, HDB is piloting a new type of public rental housing for low-income singles. Through this program, residents will get their own rooms but share common facilities such as toilets and kitchens. This will help to maximize the use of space to support as many people as possible. Next, another man in the video claimed that Singapore is an expensive city and say that we cannot stop working even when we are 70 years old. Unfortunately, this is a reality for some Singaporeans. Check this out. The number of elderly people who are aged 65 years and over and are still working have gone up over the years and is now sitting at 32%. Meanwhile, it was found that more than half of Singaporeans between the ages of 45 and 64 still have not started to plan for their retirement. Though, the good news is that many elderly between ages 65 and 70 are found to have a CPF balance between 120k to 140k. This translates to about $700 to $800 payouts a month from CPF Life when they retire, and is definitely helpful with providing for basic necessities. But unfortunately, many elderly don't have these amounts in their CPF, and they will either have to continue working or rely on others to provide for them. That's why if you are not nearing retirement yet, it's still not too late for you, as it's possible to retire in your 60s. And speaking of retirement, you can check out my video here where I will show you a super easy way to determine whether you are on track to have enough for your retirement or not. And now, a word from today's sponsor, Webull. If you are new to investing, the questions that you might usually ask are, what stock can I buy? Can buy tonight or not? Is this a good stock? Okay, that's enough, because I will show you a quick and easy way to use Webull to filter your stocks, research about the stock, and find out when is a good time to buy the stock. First, open up the Webull app. Go to Markets, tap on Screener, then Create New Screener. Here, you'll find a ton of criteria to choose from, whether it's filtering by financial criteria or technical indicators or even chart patterns. But let's say I want to look for stocks that are mid to large cap. So I can first tap on Market Cap, then set the cap from $10 billion to the maximum cap. Tap Done. Next, let's set the return on equity to more than 15% because we want to make sure that it's a profitable company. Tap Done. And finally, set the price to earnings between 10 to 20 so that it's not too overvalued and not too undervalued. And tada! We are now left with 24 stocks that fit these criteria. Of course, we will then need to go through each of them to do further research. But let's check out a random company. To analyze the company, you can tap on Company, where we will see a financial brief from Webull. For example, the total revenue has gone up by 16% year over year, while earnings per share has gone up by 43%. Scrolling down, you can see that the return on equity has gone up too. And if we head back out and scroll down a little, we will find several key indicators, such as ROA, ROE, EPS, net margin, which are all going up, indicating there's growth in the company. Further down, we will also find a quick financial breakdown of the company, such as the income statement, balance sheet, and the cash flow. There's even a peer comparison chart to tell you how the company is performing as compared to its peers. Now, let's say you have decided that you want to buy the stock. The next step is to find out when is the right time to buy. To do that, you can head to the Analysis tab, scroll down a little, and you come to the Technical Analysis section, where you will get a quick analysis on the stock movements, whether it's for the short term, medium term, and long term. Webull even tells you what the chart patterns that have occurred at certain dates. With this, you will now have a more informed decision on when is the right time to buy your stock. But if you prefer to analyze the chart yourself, you can always head to the Chart tab, then tap on the 4 square buttons below the chart to get 50 over technical indicators and 12 drawing tools at your disposal. So that was a quick and dirty way to find your stocks via Webull. But of course, let's also talk about Webull's super generous sign-up promotion. From now to October 31st, if you sign up to Webull using my link down below, fund any amount and keep the money there for 30 days, you will get to win 6 free shares worth up to $3,000 in total. And the best part, you don't even have to do any trades. And that is literally free money. Besides that, if you are new to Moneybull, you will also be eligible to earn up to $2,000. So do check out Webull if you are interested. With that being said, let's get back to the video. Next, how much do the poor in Singapore actually make? While this is subjective, many interviewees from the video consider a monthly income of 2K and below to be low income. This is actually very close to the government's standard of low income, which is a monthly household income of below $1,900 or a monthly per capita income of below $650. But is this income enough to survive on? According to the Household Expenditure Survey 2017-2018, the average household expenditure in the first 20th percentile is about $2,570. Though, these amounts would have already gone up since then due to inflation, which means that a $1,900 monthly household income today would be barely enough to survive on. If they have no means to cover even the basic expenses such as food, they may have to compromise on their quality of life. And with their low income, their CPF contributions would also be very little, which would then affect the CPF payouts to them during retirement. With little to no income, you may wonder, how do these people allocate their spending with their very limited budget? From the video, they generally do not spend on anything except for necessities. An elderly lady mentioned that she only spends $26 a month on rent, with the rest of her expenses being subsidized by the government. They also rely on donations such as daily necessities like rice to get by. Not only that, being poor is also expensive, as they lack choices in spending, while also hurting their ability to think clearly and make good decisions. This happens because the poor tend to experience more stress and negative emotions, which could affect their cognitive thinking and lead them to make more inferior choices that fit the poverty cycle. And because they do not have much, lower income residents tend to have a different perspective of a comfortable lifestyle. According to the same lady in the video, a comfortable lifestyle simply means having $200 or $300 a month. This is a very humble amount as compared to an average Singaporean who feels that they need 9K to 11K to live comfortably. Then, when asked what are the things that cost the most in Singapore, a guy mentioned cigarettes. It is not hard to see why this is the case given that cigarette prices have increased recently by 15% back in March. Based on data, it was found that lower income spend up to 20% of their income on cigarettes. This is quite significant given that they do not earn much to begin with. The money spent on cigarettes will mean that there will be less amount available from other more important things, such as food, healthcare, and education. Also, smoking affects our health and could lead to illnesses such as cancer, heart disease, and stroke. This may result in higher healthcare costs by as much as 40% as compared to non-smokers. However, the good news is that the government has been providing welfare and benefits for the low-income group. For example, there's ComCare, which was set up by the Ministry of Social and Family Development to help lower income households with basic living expenses, or the Workfare Income Supplement Scheme managed by the CPF board that tops up the salaries of lower income workers to help them save for retirement. The amounts disbursed under this scheme can go up to as much as 4.2k a year. While this may not seem like a lot to us, it can actually go a long way to help them out. Besides that, there are a lot more schemes, such as the Kids Start program, which assists in the development of children from low-income families, GST voucher scheme, CDAC Family Assistance Program, and so on. However, while these payouts may be good to offset living costs, in order to escape the poverty cycle, it's also important to increase your income by upskilling yourself. And that's where platforms like YouTube, Udemy, and SkillsFuture come in useful, as they allow you to learn many of the useful skills for free. And with that skill, you could either take on more side hustles or find a better paying job, all of which will improve your income. In conclusion, while Singapore is indeed a rich country, unfortunately, poverty still exists here. While it is definitely not easy to climb out of the poverty cycle, it is certainly possible to escape it. Though, this will first need to come from a positive attitude and mindset. Only then, you'll be able to take steps to improve your education and skill sets, which will then improve your life. Anyway, that's all for this video. Hopefully, you found it useful. Like, share, and subscribe, as I'll be posting new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.